everyone, InfiniteCaz here, and welcome back to another video. Happy New Year's, and to celebrate the new year, my first upload of 2021 is going to be all about one of my least favourite weapons in the game. Not because it's necessarily the worst of the worst, but a perfect example of how a poorly designed kit can kill a weapon, and that weapon is the vanilla Hydra splatling. Today, I just want to talk about it, and why it infuriates me so much, and use this to explain how much the weapon's kit affects its overall viability. Now I just want to preface this to any potential vanilla Hydra mains out there. I respect you for using this weapon. Seriously. Anyone that can make use of an underpowered weapon like this has so much dedication, but that doesn't make the weapon any better. Okay? Let's get right into it. So what actually makes the weapon bad? On paper it seems pretty reasonable. A slow, yet powerful splatling with a 3-shot full charge and sniper-like range, coupled with autobomb and splashdown. Your first reactions to this set will probably differ depending on your experience with the game, and the competitive scene in particular. On their own, autobombs and splashdown are seen as underpowered, and are not usually as game-defining in any way. However, they are not pure garbage. The two of them combined are not even that bad, as the Dark Tetrajulies, a commonly seen weapon, has this exact kit. However, the issue with the vanilla Hydra comes with the weapon's playstyle, and how it relies on the kit to perform well. First, let's take a look at the V-Hydra's younger, yet better cousin, the custom Hydra splatling. To understand why the custom works best, let's take a look at the weapon's kit, ink mines and ink armour. Because your charge time takes so long, and consumes so much ink, a traditional bomb can't be used to combo with it, and when it comes to getting longer ranged picks or indirect splats, the Hydra can do that. The purposes of a regular bomb are already covered, so it makes sense for a weapon like this to be paired with a supportive sub. While being a niche pick, ink mines help the Hydra with 3 main issues: being able to detect flanks, win in unprepared fights, and keep an area painted momentarily. Ink mines are placed on inkable turf, and 2 can be laid at once. They lie dormant until an enemy interacts with it or a 3rd mine is placed, which causes it to explode, dealing a decent chunk of damage and tagging anyone who is in its range. A lot of people see ink mines as underpowered because they don't deal lethal damage, but this is missing the sub's point entirely. Ink mines are used to monitor choke points or add an extra line of defense to the objective. They can also be set up in advance, which pairs well with the Hydra's playstyle. It's very easy to develop tunnel vision during a match, and the mines can act as a warning to someone sneaking up on you. The damage ink mines do can also help the Hydra outrange slayers if you are taken by surprise, and in many instances has won me a fight against the trigger-happy frontline who rushes me a bit too quickly. It's hard to say why ink mines work so well with the custom Hydra, but as someone who's had a lot of experience with this weapon, I think they are a brilliant pairing. Ink armour on the custom Hydra is also a great choice. It's the best special in the game, at least from a competitive standpoint. No other special has the ability to buff all your teammates in an instant, and because the Hydra hangs back most of the time, you can peacefully charge your special and impact the game with a simple button press. The ink armour pairs well with any weapon, so I can't say too much about how it fits the Hydra, just that it's so good it makes any weapon on it much better, and more desirable to pick up because of its supportive capabilities. While I don't think the Hydra should be run as a dedicated armour player in more serious situations, the ability to survive a sniper shot and have instant pressure on the enemy for no penalty can't be topped. The Hydra is a very situational weapon, but I thought it was important to take the time to explain how a weapon's kit makes or breaks it. Yes, the main weapon can be very strong, but its viability really comes down to its sub and special. The Splatoon devs usually do a decent job at making these combinations, and help create variety in between weapons. For example, the Tentatek splatter shot and the Kenza splatter shot are the same main weapon, but play so differently due to their kits. The former being a great offensive option, while the latter is much more supportive. But what happens when Nintendo gets the pick so awfully wrong? Well, enter the vanilla Hydra. When Splatoon 2 launched, the Hydra wasn't present. Instead, it was reintroduced in the November 2017 update, which also brought Macomart. The weapon was rarely seen when it was released, and its kit certainly didn't help matters. The game back in late 2017 wasn't as balanced as now, and while Splashdown was better back then, the weapon combo on the Hydra was just so odd. Auto bombs aren't great, but not horrible. They are now a very cheap bomb, but used to take up 70% of your ink tank, and were basically a downgrade to splat and suction bombs. The tracking feature isn't really useful, and because the bomb moves once thrown, you can't apply specific pressure to an area if anyone is in its close proximity. Not saying they are useless, as auto bombs can drive people back, but personally, now I run some sub-saver to give me 2 in a tank if I have the slots free, as it helps you provide much more pressure. But back in the dark ages of 2017, that was not feasible. So for the majority of your ink tank, you can throw a bomb that gives off some pressure, but to use it effectively, you need to cancel your charge. As to spin up fully, you need 35% of your ink tank. So what's the point in using it? The auto bomb being reduced to 55% really helped the sub, but it's still meant for aggressive weapons, and just feels awkward with the Hydra. However, its special pick really pushes the weapon over the edge into garbage, that being Splashdown. I mean, on paper it seems great. You get to jump up in the air and crash down, dealing a ton of damage to people in close contact with you. But it's underwhelming in practice, and even more so on the Hydra. While at a lower level, it may be very easy to get picks. More experienced players can easily splat you when up in the air. This makes it very risky to use in most situations. The only safe way to use a splashdown is to super jump in with it. Your opponents can see when you have your special, so it's not guaranteed to work. Although it feels amazing when you manage to trick someone who is so short in camping your jump. Splashdown is almost always a downgrade to other specials, as it's not a consistent panic button, and you are often more vulnerable using it than not. Put it on the Hydra, and it's even more of a train wreck. I can see where they were coming from. Give a weapon that is easily caught off guard a panic special, but that doesn't even work. And because your charge time is so long, you can't work off a combo from it, so if anything it's an escape tool that isn't effective in practice, as a Slay can still rush in and get that splat when you're trying to run to safety. Using it offensively just puts you out of position, and should only be used as a last resort, as without your team to help you it's easy to get rushed. The Splashdown only takes 170p to charge, sure, but unlike the Rain, which can be thrown almost any time, you need to save your special for the exact right moment. But even then, if your opponents are good at Splashdown cancelling, that patience was for nothing. Approaching an enemy with the intent of using Splashdown is an awful idea, as if they see you and engage, you're out of options. To make use of the Splashdown, you rely on your enemies being unable to shoot you down, something that shouldn't be present in a special. But what if you really want to use it? If you feel like you must, I would personally run it when you have an armor weapon and want a backline with bombs, as no other backline splatling has a bomb for the sub. If there was a mode to use it on, I think you could utilise it in Clan Blitz, as a super jump splashdown when pushing into the basket can disrupt the enemy's team a whole lot, and will hopefully give you the cover you need to back out. The Hydra can also be used as a super defensive option in a mode where backlines are not very common. The Hydra itself is best utilised when there isn't a charger on the enemy team, and your best chances of this happening are in Clan Blitz. The basket also stays at a fixed point, so defending it is much simpler than in Rainmaker. However, to use Splashdown effectively, you do need the support of your teammates, so it makes this strategy very niche. Can you use it in the other modes? Sure, but I don't think it's worth it. The Hydra isn't a paint orientated weapon, so using Splashdown to paint the zone if your teammates can do the job isn't worth it. In most maps, you won't be in the zone for most of the game, and if the objective is being contested, moving forward and putting yourself in danger isn't ideal, unless it's a dire situation. Splashdown jumping on the tower can work, but is it really worth it over the custom Hydra? The biggest issue with this set is there's no need to use it when the custom exists, and in fact this happens to a lot of kits in Splatoon, but the V-Hydra gets hit even harder as it's a bad kit on a niche weapon. So lastly, how would I improve it? I think that's all it needs is a special change. Auto bombs aren't amazing, but they work for sure in many situations, and give the vanilla Hydra a way to stand out, being the slightly more aggressive option. The special is tricky, but I think I would give it Burst Bomb Launcher. Okay, hear me out if you're not convinced. Because of the instant explosion, Burst Bomb Launcher can act more as a panic special, but it still provides pressure and paint coverage, something that the Splashdown does. But you can do said objective from a distance with Burst Bombs, making it a straight upgrade. I would make the special take 180p to charge, just more than the special currently, but the 200p on the custom feels very harsh, especially on a less powerful special. Would this make the weapon perfect and used by everyone? Of course not. But I think changing the special can improve a kit tenfold, as the synergy can be the thing that makes or breaks a weapon, and getting rid of Splashdown sure covers that. So that's all for now, and thanks for watching until the end. What do you think about the vanilla Hydra? Is there anything I missed? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. Please like and subscribe as it really helps me out. We're on the road to 1k subs and it would be amazing to have you here. And with that being said, I will see you all soon. Bye!